Hey guys, welcome to the Psy Tai podcast number 33 with your host Ty. Got some articles for y'all. We're going to travel to Africa and we're going to see this ayahuasca-like brew that has been used there for thousands of years in healing ceremonies. And also 2c-b, it's an article from Vice that we're going to tie on and how it's being used and being more well known in those facts. So let's cue this intro. Thanks for coming here. Bang. Hey guys, welcome back. Hopefully you're having a wonderful morning, evening, night, midnight special, whatever time this is coming at you. Take this energy now that we all in the same boat. We can start the conversation. Yes, guys. Hey guys, it's a wonderful day. Look at our spot. Kind of cloudy out here in Chico, but it's all right. But wonderful day. I got some articles for y'all. I found one. It's about ayahuasca. We talked about that in the last podcast, but this one is about a similar brew. So it has similar effects, but the chemical properties of it are completely different. So we're going to read this article and really tie on it because these plant medicines are used around the world. Plant medicines are used around the world in healing ceremonies. But what I got to say before I go any deeper is the Psy Tai podcast does not promote the use of illegal or legal drugs. What you do with your body is what you do with your body. This is for educational purposes only. Do not recreate anything that you hear on this podcast, hear or see. Do not. This is for documentational purposes. Do not do this. But hey guys, this is cool. We back. So, as I was saying, these plants are used all around the world by indigenous cultures. And what I mean by indigenous cultures are cultures that's not ran over by like Europe, well, the England, so to speak, countries that have not been colonized yet and ran over by religions and things yet. So, because a lot out there in Scandinavia, they have their plant medicines and things as well. But sticking to Africa and everything, it's plants out there. It's hundreds of different mushroom species besides psilocybin cubensis and L&I, and the ones that we find here in the States and in Mexico. And we see how we're going to see how it relates to the culture and the spiritual upbringing and the upbringing period of the society that they're found in. And we have to, while I'm tying on this, while we're going to just tie, and just tie is when you combine your mind with your heart, connect those two circles and let whatever come out, is because when a lot of these cultures are found out and things, their whole society is like wiped clean and replaced with what's been happening all around, Americanism or Christianity or any kind of religion that's not fitting. It's just the complete opposite of what they're into. So, and then their language get lost, their history gets lost, and they lose their connection with nature and with themselves. So we're gonna share their stories, and we're gonna find out. We're just gonna tie. Just think about these things. Just think about it. Let's jump right into this first article. Yeah, first of all, we're going to start with 2c-b. I forgot. That was the first one I actually wanted to go. We're going to do the African one after this one. 2c-b is like a beginner psychedelic drug for those who are not familiar in that game. It's like similar to lysergic acid dimethylide, LSD, but it has less effects on you dealing with actual problems in your life. So the therapeutic value is not totally as potent as psilocybin mushrooms and LSD, but it allows you to experience these realms. And most people say that this is like the beginner. This should be like your first psychedelic that you get into. And we're going to see how it was made, hopefully, and things like that. I'm not too familiar, but it is plant derived. I know that part, but it's a lot going on. It's a lot going on. That's why we gotta have these conversations so that we can have our stuff based in some facts and some truths. As much truth as we can at least get at the time. So let's get into this Vice article. 2c-b is the drug taking over the UK's clubs. For decades, only psychedelic connoisseurs knew about 2c-b, but in recent years, knowledge has spread, leading more and more dealers to sell it on the dark net. Whoa. And that's 2c-b right there. It's in a man's hand. It got like a peace sign and things on it. They showing in the picture for those listening. Alright, I'm gonna skim through most of it. I'm not gonna read it word for word, but it says on a Saturday night in a North London club, a 26-year-old swallows a pink pill and a mouthful of Red Bull. Within an hour, he's dancing uncontrollably. Though the euphoria swelling through his body is similar to what he feels after dropping ecstasy, the lights above the DJ, which trail on and on as if reflected on water, indicate that he hasn't taken MDMA, but 2c-b, a hallucinogenic drug available on the darknet that has found a captive audience in the UK clubber. So this is like prominent in the UK, they trying to say. Alright, let's see about his history. Alright, it was first synthesized in 1974 by Alexander Slogan, the man who famously popularized MDMA's use in psychology. 2c-b itself began as a therapeutic aid before being sold commercially as the aphrodisiac Erox by the German company Ditowel. In 1985, it became a short-lived substitute for ecstasy in the U.S. when MDMA was criminalized. So that's how it got out. That's how it started flooding the streets. Okay. And for a time was sold in Dutch smart shops under the name Nexus. So if you like travel to Holland and things and you was going there for legal weed, you probably run across some 2c-b. Most 2c-b that arrives in Britain today, where it's illegal under the Misuse of Drug Act, still gets made in Dutch labs in the Netherlands. Okay, that's cool. Yeah, and they're trying to see it for decades. Like I was telling y'all, only a certain amount of people knew about it. Its impact can be seen in the 2018 Global Drug Survey, where 6.7% of respondents said they used it above heroin and crack. So more people use 2c-b than heroin and crack, and I guess this was in London. In the 2018 song Kanye West, Yikes, he raps, tweaking off that 2c-b, huh? And among, they had to put that in there, and among Colombia's elite, for whom Semanas reports it's become a drug of choice. Yeah, I know Kanye tried some stuff. He had a song where he mentioned smoking DMT, dimethyltryptamine, which is in the tryptamine fam class alongside LSD, psilocybin, and serotonin, which is found in your body naturally. That's cool though. Mowing the people he rubs shoulders, more drugs they talking about is but also belong to a core where harm reduction knowledge is high and day-long hangovers are made untenable by weekend shifts, freelance working. Yeah. And he says, MDMA was the first drug I tried. I became less introverted, and it helped me to find the techno scene where I enjoyed the music and I felt I belonged. After that, I took an interest in drugs, effects, and pharmacology and harm reduction, which thankfully restrained me from taking MDMA excessively. At the time, it would have been easy to go overboard. That's what I find a lot too in people that I hear get into the MDMA field, because it depletes your serotonin. Unlike psilocybin mushrooms and LSD, it actually depletes your serotonin levels. That's why the next day you could be partying all that night, and the next day you can sometimes have suicidal thoughts. So MDMA is a separate class of head drugs, so to speak, of what we talk about in the podcast. So it's good to talk about all of this so we can have some real conversations on here. So if you like this video, drop a like and leave something that you're thinking about right now in the comments when it comes to 2c-b compared to psilocybin mushrooms and things like that. Let the world know what you thinking. Alright, MDMA. And then he's saying it helped him not be an introvert, so he probably was staying in the house a lot. But he was saying he was probably going to rely too much on it for him to go out. So it's a good thing he got into pharmacology and harm reduction, because that allows people, that's why I have this channel, so we can see how to not go overboard on things. I could have went so far overboard on LSD, but I did what he's saying now. So this is most true for me as well. This is where 2c-b comes in. Unlike MDMA, it doesn't deplete serotonin. Oh, I was just telling you guys that. The chemical in our bodies that tells us to be happy. The ones that makes you feel good. Instead, it mimics it. And in the same way, certain antidepressants, meaning sad thoughts and exhaustion after use, along with long-term damage to brain cells, neurotoxicity, aren't as likely. Though research on 2CB is scant, users also suggest that one's tolerance to it resets roughly after 48 hours. Again, different to MDMA, where even taking it once every few months leaves people chasing diminishing highs with increasing amounts. That's that party teenage go lucky scene, man. We gotta grow up. Gotta grow up fast if we want to have these things in our society, or else we're gonna just pile on problems on ourselves. Yeah, and they saying what I was saying before. How 2C Mo was saying he feels as though 2CB doesn't negatively affect him. I dropped it consecutively for 2 weeks. I dropped it consecutive weeks too, and in the days after, I don't experience any sort of hangover. The body load on the come up has me feel quite nauseous and uncomfortable a few times, and this can be migrated by taking it on an empty stomach, having minimum alcohol beforehand, and avoiding high doses, or avoiding alcohol altogether. Just think about these things, right? And that's they got a picture of some pink 2CP pills. And remember, we're not promoting the use of this. We're just having the conversation so that we can grow and learn. And they talk about how it's on the dark web, the dark net, and things like that. Despite being known as the most painful drug to snort, when you snort, of course, when you inhale stuff through your nose, it hits faster, it hits harder. That's why people snort cocaine that y'all see in the movies and things like that, and they instantly get a high as if they smoked it or things like that. Yeah, but mostly you can just ingest it like you do your Tylenol and all the other things. You don't have to snort. Like, people just be trying to get that rush. But to each his own. According to Mo, when dancing on techno on 2CB, he feels connected so much that despite sweating profusely, he'd rather take his sweating shirt off than go outside and take a breath. That's funny. So he's y'all feel him. We all was like this one time. He isn't the only one. Oh, he's back in the club. I swear I don't have to read any of this. I could just go off a whim and I'll just say this whole article. But that's just how I thought, man. I mean, that's something for the tires. Y'all know how it is. At the end of the night, it looked like the club has flooded. You get closed eye visuals, CVEs, and open eye visuals, OEVs. So when you close eyes, you get visuals, and open, you get visuals. They're just talking about the effects. Nope, how'd I get in there? That's when I was screenshotting everything. Alright, I was telling y'all that, right? It's more controllable than LSD and psilocybin. It's been described as a cross between MDMA and LSD, said Mo. It's shorter lasting than MD and than LSD. LSD can sometimes last from like 6 to 8 hours, when how long they saying it lasts on TCB. It's just saying shorter, but it must be significantly shorter that people talk about this much. I never ran across it in my life. It never came in my field of 3D perspective or anything, so I don't have personal hands-on experience for me to give to y'all, but I have similar experiences with LSD, so I can give my little 2 cents. But if you have some experience, then leave it in the comments. Let me know if this is all some BS or if it's all legit. As with every hallucinogen, there's an undercurrent of paranoia to some 2CB trips that can leave the user feeling at odds with their surroundings. At one point, Mo stops dancing and put his soaking wet t-shirt back on before looking around confused. He also checks his phone and see is much earlier than imagined. The sense of passing time quicker. Yeah, the sense of passing just 5 minutes can feel like a whole half hour. Y'all know that feeling. Time flies. It's look like kind of the opposite though of time flies by when you're having fun. When you think about it, when you talk about that. All right, this is the negative effects. The heart rate, the central nervous system, and people occasionally experience headaches after large doses. Watching most sweat is unclear. It's also clear the potential for a heart stroke exists, so staying well hydrated while raving is essential. Staying hydrated during all of these experiences is essential. Staying hydrated during your normal, everyday waking life is very, very essential. It can change your life, man. So just try to start with a gallon of water a day. I know that's a lot, but it will transform your life, man. I experiences the differences, and you can too. Moreover, 2c being linked with serious brain damage in one woman. This is a case. A lethal dose of 2c-b also isn't known. Okay, so the LD50, like the LD50 rate is what they give for like mushrooms and stuff. Like they say you gotta eat like 4 times your weight in mushrooms and stuff in order to actually have an overdose. And 2c-b is not known yet. Reddit users have taken hundreds of milligrams without life-threatening incident, though some did incur hallucinogen persistent, HPPD, the perception disorder, where they were seeing trails and stuff like days after they had this kind of experience. But that's another Thai thought, because the veil gets pushed down the deeper you go, and you start experiencing more of the real. From my personal perspective. But it can be, if you wasn't expecting that or ready for that, it can cause problems in your life of not knowing what's real and what's not, and what's going on in your life and things like that. And that's why we come together and forming these communities, man. These conversations and everything, and legalizing things so that it can get into more people's minds. Generally, doses above 15 milligrams can be intense, while ones over 25, where OEVs, open eye visuals, become more frequent, are occasionally frightening. But that's again to each his own. And then they bringing up something saying how, even though 2CP is in the family as 2CB, 2CP is reported death of somebody. But it changes though, like changing little chemical structures changes what the whole drug does in and of itself. And so it's a huge difference. It can have an extra oxygen molecule added to it, and then once it builds up and collects in a 3D form, it's going to be something totally different with totally different effects. So I see that they're relating it to, I'm breaking this up because I see that they're relating it to 2CP, but let's still stay on track, not create fear. Another wave of euphoria hits through, and that's the article. That's that Vice article. So thank you, Vice, for letting me use that. And if not, hit me up an email at justtoddnow@gmail.com. Maybe we can work something out, work together. But hey, if y'all enjoying this so far, drop a like. Thanks for tuning in so far, and share this video with your friends and family. Alright, before I get into the African ayahuasca, I have a special featured artist, and I'm gonna show y'all art right now. So if y'all want y'all art ever featured, just contact me, however y'all found out. But let's go. Here we go. And this one is by Advarda_Ma. She lives in India, so check out her, and we can check out this right now. She says she paints the inner soul of being, so that's what her pictures represent. So this is very cool, very colorful, and all the orbs seem to go into a whole nother world. So this is pretty dope. Check her out. I got another one. Wait, at least I thought I had another one. Oh yeah, this happened. Alright, so let's delete that. Bang, there we go. Here goes another one. And this one is in Russia. But this is another one about worlds within worlds and orbs and dimensions and everything. Very, very cool. A lot of browns and blues going on. But besides that, if it makes me, I get lost in it. That's pretty dope. So yeah, if you want your art featured on the channel, just hit me up. However you hit me up. Actually, I got something for you. Check us out on the Instagram, the Twitter, or the Facebook at Tai_now, or just Tai Now, TAI, not THI like the food. Hopefully I hear from y'all pretty soon. Nope, that was from yesterday. Okay, so now we got the last article, the one we all been waiting for. It's called Paganum harmala, the ayahuasca of North Africa and Eurasia, known as Syrian rue or wild rue in English. Oh, I heard about Syrian rue. I didn't really go over these articles before I pulled them up. But yeah, I heard about Syrian rue or wild rue in English. Perganum harmala is a powerful medicine plant. Medicine plant that has a lot in common with the Amazon. Yep, we got that. All right, so this is by Giorgio Samarini, March 1st, 2019. So this is a fairly new article. This is fairly new research. Well, it's probably been out there for a while, but y'all know how these things work. Alright, wildly popular across Europe, Asia, and North America for thousands of years, Panguna harmala is a perennial plant that has a lot in common with the psychoactive vine from Amazonia's ayahuasca. The two entheogens share, and entheogens means awakening the divine within. This is a term given to plants for that meaning. Awakening the divine within. Shares a similar molecular profile and has been associated with many types of healing and spirituality in different cultures. While ayahuasca is more well known on the internet today as its sister, Panganum harmala, deserves more attention than it gets. This article explores the plant's fascinating history, array of uses, and medicinal potential. Cool. All right, we're gonna learn something today. You're gonna learn something today. Pangunum harmala is known as Syrian rue or wild rue in English. That's in Morocco. It is called menanju, which means what makes you crazy possessed, referring to its intoxicating properties. It belongs to all of these words in Izego botanical family. That's why we got the text up there. Y'all can read that. Archaeology has shown a human relationship with this plant for at least 7,000 years. The most ancient documents are from the Caucasus, the Near East, and Egypt. From an iconographic point of view, this light's blinding me. View with a symbolic view of tree of life, the harmonium plant seems to be drawn on triplet cups of the Gerat Mesopotamian culture dated to the 3rd millennium BC. As far as written documents are concerned, Hormel has been identified in ancient texts in ancient Mesopotamian cuneiform texts where it corresponds to the Assyrian term Sibaratu, which gave rise to the modern Syrian word Sabara, with the name Alamon. Harmel has been identified in some Cappadocian tablets dated to 2000 BC. Oh, I never put two and two together. They was called Syrian rue seeds because they came from ancient Syria. And Syria is like one of the most ancient cultures that we have detailed written records of. That's why they say it's in cuneiforms. Cuneiforms was clay tablets that they made, and they will get a rock or something that can make an indentation in a clay, and they just will like press it into the clay, and that's cuneiform. So that's where we get the ancient Sumerian texts. It's even mentioned in the Christian Bible, ancient Sumeria. So this is a real ancient culture, and we're seeing that these seeds are mentioned in their pictures and is mentioned in their writings and things like that under different names, like Sabaru and things like that, Sabaratu and Sabara. So this is very cool and interesting, because these it's just wild, because when you when I first got into all of this, just along my path, talking about ancient aliens and things, and on Ancient Aliens, the show in particularly that comes on History Channel, they attribute everything to aliens just coming down to Earth and doing everything, and man not building the pyramids or not having so much knowledge, but it was just stuff that the aliens did. But we can see now that these aliens can really just mean extra dimensional beings, or stuff that we're unlocking within ourselves. That's how powerful we are, and it just plays out as these stories. But all of this is real, and is more detailed than what I can say in these 2 sentences. So let's not muck the truth up. These are all just Ty. Just think about the things that Ty is saying right now. But they were diving into themselves and using these plants and these ceremonies in order to communicate with things that were not seen, and things and with themselves, and communication with the gods, and be on an equal level, so to speak. But let's go. Oh, let's stay on track too. Here we go. It spread, and this how the seeds spread. It spread from the eastern Mediterranean to Sahelian Africa, from Syria to northern India. And check out all of these cultures when you really check them out, how deep steeped in religion they are, and they religious practices and everything. It's because they really are connected. They having these experiences. Alright, and from Syria to northern India, and from China to Mongolia. During the first millennia of our era, the Arabs then spread it to Spain and southern Italy. In recent times, this plant has been introduced and neutralized in some regions in the United States, Canada, Mexico, South Africa, and Australia. So that's pretty cool. White people was keeping it out of South Africa as long as they could. America's finally starting to accept some things. Canada, I don't know what they be on, but they always on something. Mexico, I'm surprised it's just getting there, but they had so many other plants that Syrian rue is just adding to the mix. In Australia, they also have a lot of indigenous psychoactive plants as well. A lot. But we seen that the Arabs was spreading it from northern Africa. They was the ones spreading the knowledge. And if y'all look at the Arabs as well, the Moors, as I like to call them as well, the dark-skinned people, they were so proficient in mathematics and in astrology at the time, way more than a lot of the cultures, even when you look at history, was on to. They was the ones going around spreading this astrology talk, spreading this mathematics talk. Like that, they were the ones. I keep clicking on the wrong one. They were the ones. So this is pretty dope that they were also the ones that had Syrian rule on their belt. So they was experiencing some cool things. This is dope. All right, keep it up. Ancient Egyptian god Bes. Samarini. Oh, Samarini. That's close. That's similar to the name. Oh, that's the god Giorgio Samarini. So he must have. Oh, we're gonna see what Bes is about. This ancient Egyptian projection of themselves that they created as God. Several literally documents testify in the Middle East to a religious use of Hermel since pre-Islamic times. Okay, the seeds and other parts of the plants were burnt during Zoroastrian rituals. I used to read some books on that. and to produce dense, intoxicating smoke. And this use survives today. Yes, a lot of people get the use of incense confused. Yes, it's used to make the room smell good and things like that, but the psychoactive chemicals are taken out of the incense that we use today. So when you hear about the room was filled with frankincense and myrrh or all these other things, they had other chemicals in it that allowed that when the room was filled with smoke, it allowed people to get intoxicated. Contact high. People got that contact high going on. You've been around people smoking marijuana. Same story. But when put into ceremonial use and religious practices and things, you go somewhere. You travel. Alright. Where were we? It said fumigation practices with the hermal are present in the ancient Iranian sources of the Gathis, and we know that an extract of the vegetable was also drunk. Okay, so they brewed it like ayahuasca. They brewed it into a tea. It's probably like my stomach hurt when I take this, but I love the effects. Let's make this, see what happens when I make this to a tea, like we do a lot of other herbs that we have. The identification of this plant with the Haoma, the drink of immortality of Iranian mythology. Oh, we gotta look that up. Somebody leave that in the comments so I can remember to do that. Of Vista has been proposed. Her male seems to have been used in Coptic Egyptian rituals. Yes, an initiatory invocation dated to the 2nd through 3rd century AD refers to a noble tree identified with her male, which would have played the symbolic role of tree of life that holds the universe and under which Osiris resides. It's so wild because we all have been looking at Egyptian mythology all of our life. Even in school, they introduce it as like part of learning about history and stuff. Like, what was the Egyptians into? What were the Greeks into? What gods did they worship? Why did they worship the gods that they worship? But when we really start tying on plants and the places they take us to and how they make you feel and the bullshit that they release from your mind in terms of how much programming society has on your mind, on TV, the way you dress, what you eat. Look how big farm, like the farm company is treating animals, and big pharma, how they're treating people, trying to farm people, big farms. It's all tying together. So seeing how it's more than mythology, or just the mythology that we was presented is false in itself, and the way that it's presented itself is false. And now we seen that they're working with these plants, and we are can work with these same plants. We can now get the full message of who we are as human beings as throughout history for ourselves, or actually work together ourselves. When I say ourselves, I mean this community of tires of plant medicine, psychedelic, psychotherapy, religion, anybody. All of us come together. We can all finally see with that eye, you know how they say, just tie with the tiredness. Let's see with the tiredness. And not get, because the way that we see it, the way that I see it now going about is that when we go back into the mythology and things, and because it's in Egyptian culture, and it's also in Netherlands culture, Scandinavian cultures and everything. But when we go back in it and we don't really experience it for ourselves, it turns into more division, because then people say, oh, my people have the truth. My people were here before your people. My people did this and your people are just doing this. Instead of seeing that we're all the same people. And that's why different cultures around the world, before they were all colonized into becoming to this one mind, this one kind of culture thing going on. Y'all's colonized world going on, capitalist society kind of thing going on. they were still coming up with the same conclusions, even though they never met. They were building the same kind of architectures, even though they never met, because they were realizing the same similar truths. So they mean something when they say society is losing its connection to nature, losing our connection with ourselves. You know? All right, let's go to the next page. Cause we still want to know about what this Bessa character is. Named in Egypt, Bessa or Bessasa, this term poses Harmel in direct association with the god Bes. Bessasa, that's a term when you use it. All right, a deity of the pharaonic pantheon. Bes was mainly a good fortune deity of the domestic environment and protector of women giving birth, newborns, infants, and people sleeping. He was also the divinity of music and dance and associated with sexual pleasures, libertine love, and later with wine. As protector of dreams, he carried out important oracle functions held during the Roman period at Abydos. In Platonic times, incubation rooms sprang up, called rooms of Bes, used for rituals of cure through dreams. Its association with wine is late, and we know a reference of the 3rd century BC about the essence of wine vessels called Besgavan, on which this deity was depicted. We do not know what kind of drink was poured from this vase, but the suspicion arises that it was a particular drink in which some intoxicant ingredient was added, perhaps the plant of Bes, Hormel. They added some Syrian root to the wine, and that's where it was going. That wine, they wasn't just drinking the wine that we have today. I've been away from alcohol for a long time. Last time, honestly, I've been drunk was on my birthday for my sister. But before that, no. But we see that, because I see that alcohol gets you to a state, but then it allows some anger to be able to take control, or something. Not anger, but allows some BS to come up. But we see now they combined it and back in the day with Syrian rue seeds. So it was actually actually allowing them to come to terms and deal with the problems that alcohol was forcing them to face. Instead of saying, I'm just going to dance this away, or I'm just going to watch some sports and this away. It was like, are you in the state? Now we can deal with something. That's just my top thought for the records while reading this. Best associated with this plant, also with dreams, with sexual pleasures, and with Hathor, goddess of love and intoxication, will justify this superstition. Yes, so it was Hathor, the goddess of love and intoxication, and of dreams. This dream part is very big, because dreams is where you are. You know what I mean? Like the 4th, 5th, and 6th dimension, so to speak, just to put it in some terms. So we seen it was used during childbirth to help them out and everything. So that's a cool drink. That's what they was doing back in Egypt. So probably when Jesus made wine, it had some Syrian rue seeds in it. Just talk. Jesus made some wine with some Syrian rue, with some hamala. Wait. I'm off. Wait. Go back. Go back. Yeah, Harmel. Jesus made some wine with some Harmel. The comedic top, so off. And that's just talking about the modern traditional use of Syrian rue. Alright, and how to say the modern use is starting again back in Turkey. We're going to skim through this again. It's in Arab markets. As an oil, they use the oil that's extracted from the seeds as an aphrodisiac. Whoa. In the Tunis Arbor market, I personally observed extensive trade in these seeds. Alright, so that's what they're using it. The Herman shamans of the northern Pakistan inhale the vapors of the harmel, which they call supandur, for the purpose of calling the spirits during their trance. That's pretty cool. And in Turkey, they drink it together with cannabis. This makes sight blind, increases the power of imagination, and believed to reinforce the effects of other intoxicating sources. So they drinking it together with cannabis. Just wow. And remember, do not recreate anything that you hear on the Psy Tai podcast. In the Arab market, the oils are, we got that. As a medicinal plant, harmel is considered a real panacea used for the myriad of physical and mental conditions. It is widely used as an abortive and at lower doses as a oxytocin to facilitate delivery. It is this property that probably associated in the ancient times with the Egyptian divinity protector of childbirth. Oh, okay. So that was protector of childbirth and Hathor and stuff. So since this plan was associated, y'all get where I'm going. Let's travel back just to connect the dots. So now Hathor, but just Bes. Good for Bes was protector of women over childbirth. And he was associated with the Syrian Ru, and now in modern times they're giving it to people during childbirth to help ease it, like not the Epidorfa, whatever that thing is, where the doctor gives the shot, and if they miss, you can go paralyzed and all that crazy stuff. So people will say they got this to help, and not as wild as saying I'm gonna just have this kid naturally. Even though that is very empowering and is done all around the world as well. Alright. Helps menstrual flow in locations in many Eurasian countries and is used as a anti-cancer agent. Alright. So now we're gonna go to the XY. Alright, I think I'm gonna leave the rest of this article alone. Alright, let's see about what makes it up. Okay. Alright. Yes, let's get to some science. Harmel is the real melting pot of active ingredients. In particular, beta carboline and quinazoline alkaloids in large quantities in the roots, like 1 through 3.7%, and even higher concentrations in the seeds, 1.2 through 10%. The main beta carboline alkaloids, cumulatively referred to as the harmala alkaloids, are harmaline and harmaline. Wait, that look like the same word. Oh, harmine and harmaline. It is well known that these same compounds are among the ingredients of ayahuasca, where they play the role of MAO inhibitors, allowing the absorption of the second group of alkaloids present in the drink, specifically the dimethyltryptamine, the DMT. So the Syrian Ru seeds, they seen X, because without having an MAO inhibitor, then the DMT containing plant would just go in your mouth and out the other side. It will not absorb in your bloodstream or anything, but when mixed, it allows it to slow down, and then it gets to your bloodstream, and then you're able to have the experience. Cool. Let's skip down. Here goes a picture of some harmel seeds, some Syrian Ru seeds. They're like brown. Yeah, kind of triangle shape, interestingly enough. Has some anti-cancer properties. That's pretty dope. Appears to have one of the most interesting molecules in this regard. Its properties of inducing apoptosis, suicide, and malignant cells have been ascertained in laboratory studies, and as such give credibility to the highly acclaimed anti-cancer properties of both ayahuasca and hermel. So it's because of these beta carboline alkaloids, especially the hermala alkaloids that they're studying, is having anti-cancer, is breaking cancer, is killing cancer, it's killing cancer, it's stopping cancer. Let that soak in a million gajillion times. It's being studied and it's being proven. Let's get this out there, guys. Let's get this information out there, guys. Please share this video with your friends and family. Share this article. Share your thoughts on this, period. 2 interesting case report on the treatment of cancer with the Pango Harmala seed extracts have recently been described by an Israel research team directed by Abram Lansky. Our 25-year-old suffering from highly malignant brain tumor. After numerous surgical excursions without success, the young man decided to switch to an alternate therapies with medicinal herbs, including cannabis oil. Yes, the Rick Simpson oil, everything. Yes. A ketogenic diet and hermel seeds. After 4 years of these therapies and 2 years of continuous administration of hermel seeds, the patient achieved complete remission from the tumor. In the second case, a 50-year-old woman was treated in a very original way. That is a very novel way. That is by spreading hermel seed oil on her skin at the height of the tumor and where the transdermal migration of the active ingredient hermine towards the cancer that had been facilitated by infrared light. She rubbed it on her skin where the tumor was. Then she had an infrared light placed on there to zap it. Once the cancer was reached, the hermine-induced apoptosis of the malignant cells. So it just caused the cells to commit suicide once it got in contact with them, and then the infrared light. Wow. And these seeds been around for how long, guys? They've been used for these reasons. For how long, guys? Cancer wasn't around back then for reasons. Because we were using the right plants. We had the proper diet. Diet is everything that you take in. Everything from even your breath. Because if you got bad air, you're eating bad air. So you're going to have bad thoughts. Bring about bad energies. Have bad ailments going on. Or bad diseases going on. So just tie on these things. Because this is the most truth right now, guys. There is no easy cure for cancer, and we shouldn't expect Pango Harmala to easily be a necessary one, this article says. But given its wide history of use, is good. Best, good fortune plant. Yes, Best does need to get that name, and this is another plant. This is another tree that has the plant from an ancient Egyptian hieroglyph and things. So this is pretty cool, guys. This has been pretty dope. We learned a lot. We learned about let's backtrack a lot about the Panganum Harmala and how it was used throughout ancient North African cultures, from childbirth helping to calling upon the spirits to anti-cancer, all of these things. And he's learning about 2c-b, the properties of it, how it's a beginner plant medicine to introduce in these fields and being used to the things that you hear a lot of psychonauts and people that have been using these plants for therapeutic reasons for thousands of years, and even just from studies from the 50s and 60s before the Richard Nixon cut all of this stuff out. That's why we're under so much pain that the plants I see in my world is calling us. The plants are calling us back to ourselves, and we see everything as external and saying, oh, we can't rely on things to get us to where we gotta be. But that's how we've been doing it as humans since all of eternity so far in my book. But we're gonna get into the Stone Ape theory and see if it wasn't always like that until we finally woke up like we are now. Right now I see like a bunch of walking apes and things like that. I see a lot of happiness, but we a bunch of fucking walking apes and without a brain walking around, and we just relying on our madness and reptilian brain and things to get shit done. But now the plants once again are calling us back to our higher selves, to connection back with nature, everything that's around us, calling us back to our family, calling us back to our friends, calling us back to our cousin or aunts that we have not called in a long time, to old buddies and pals that we messed up with in the past. It's calling us back to all of that to our attention, all the people that tried to get us over with getting a little bit of knowledge and tricking people into giving up their whole way of being just because that person had an idea and they wanted to get rich off of it. This is all coming to an end because we are now figuring this all out for ourselves, and this is a good awesome time to be so terrific. So just combine your minds with your heart, guys. Connect those two circles and let whatever come out just come out. This has been awesome. I love you guys. We all tie, but do we really tie? Sometimes I don't know, dude. Sometimes I really don't know. Until next time, I love you guys. I'll see you around. Like this video, subscribe for more. Peace, adios. See you around.